Disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowances made for fair use for purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips in the balance of the favor of fair use. Furthermore, I give credit to the original copyright owner. I don't own the rights, or no infringement is intended to the material that has been added to this original content. Welcome to Blended Healing, episode 4. I'm madly in love with you. No, wait, I'm infatuated. Are you going to leave? And we were talking about doing a deep dive into anxious attachment. Anxious attachment. And we find that in anxious attachment, it is stemmed from childhood. And when we ended last, we were talking about doing shadow healing, which the person who suffers from this anxious attachment disorder or style is going to need a support system to go through this, whether it's you or somebody that you know. But this is all stemming from love and infatuation. So, how do you love someone with anxious attachment? Someone with this style has an intense fear of rejection and abandonment because an anxious attacher feels unworthy of love. They may focus on what they perceive to be a threat to their relationship in an attempt to prevent what they see as the inevitable from occurring, their partner or person of interest leaving them. Anxious attachers may even engage in protest behaviors such as bursts of anger toward the partner, or they may internalize their negative feelings to become self-critical, further reducing their levels of self-esteem. We understand that the traits of an anxious attachment style can make it difficult to know how to deal with an anxious attachment partner in a way that helps them to feel loved and secured. Hopefully, we'll be able to help give some type of segue to you if you are the person that is having anxious attachment style, or if your partner or person of interest has it, and what type of tips that can be offered in order to help them. So number one, you got to help your anxious partner establish healthy boundaries. Have an open and clear conversation with them about how you can help them feel secure in the relationship while still maintaining appropriate boundaries. Once you have done this, the aim is to reinforce those boundaries consistently. Number two, encourage them to try therapy. If your anxious partner struggles to manage their intense emotions by themselves, you can encourage them to seek professional help, because a therapist can help them process their childhood experiences and equip them with the the tools to manage their thoughts and feelings as well as to communicate their needs in the relationship. You can even try couples therapy to work together to resolve any attachment related problems within the relationship. Number three, be consistent. Inconsistent behavior is a major trigger for someone with an anxious attachment style and can possibly activate anxious attachment, jealousy, regularly letting you anxiously attached partner know how important that they are to you and that you're there for them may help them feel more secure and supported within the relationship. Number four, listen to what they have to say. Listen to their concerns. Allowing them to voice their anxieties can help them understand the flaws in their way of thinking. Validate their emotions, but also challenge them to challenge their story that led them to feeling anxious and insecure. And ever so gently point out the inaccuracies in their thought patterns, or else provide them with evidence to the contrary, such as how you're always been there consistently for them. So there's no reason to think otherwise. Ashe, Ashe. It's just a matter of guiding them into something that they're unfamiliar with. But I implore you to assist them while they're going through the shadow period of learning how to cope with these. It's often that you feel like attachment styles are permanent, but with knowledge and understanding and the right skill set, forming healthy relationships with that anxious attachment style is entirely possible. Anxious attachers can develop learned, secure attachment by identifying their irrational thoughts about themselves and in relationships and change their attachment related behaviors as a result. For some people, the best way of forging learned security is through a therapist. Others may feel more equipped to handle their issues with their partner or person of interest, a trusted friend, or through a workbook. But regardless of how you choose to do it or they choose to do it, if someone with anxious attachment style wants to achieve change, consistency and effort are key. Ashe, Ashe. This is researched information and it comes from the attachmentproject.com. Ashe and Deep Bow. We have covered a lot, a lot. We have covered love for those people who are deeply in love. And what does that look like? We have talked about love versus infatuation and what that looks like. And to me, what seems the most credible and poignant place is that love versus infatuation. And then the attachment, anxious attachment style also speaks to a lot in regards to childhood trauma. And I put that in quotation marks because it depends upon who you are and how you are, if you consider it a trauma at all. It's just something that happens in your childhood and that you just allowed it to pile up and it just manifested into this. And there's nothing wrong with that. What it is that you have to try to make a concerted effort in order to navigate around these things. Please get yourself with your soul tribe, your soul family, or somebody that you trust so you can sit down and have this conversation that is needed. Because maybe it's you going through the process of being in a relationship where there's something missing, and it's okay. Not everybody's going to have the classic book, 100% marriage where everything is going in the right direction. Not everybody's going to fight fair. It's not a part of our makeup for the most part. But it's a great to be on a wish list. And when it comes to having that extreme love, that that somebody really, really, truly loves you, and to have those check marks in your mind as well as putting it down on paper, because if it is lacking and you have gained too much comfortability in your relationship and you're not getting anything out of it, baby, what's the point? Because all it is comfortability, whether it's financial, whether it's combating loneliness, just to have somebody with you, to have a person. So you're not going and navigating this world on your own. It's a crutch. But if you can, and if it's worth it, please, by all means, do everything possible to make your relationship work if it's truly worth saving. I would hate to see people break up for bullshit because there's a lot of it going on out here. If you do everything in your power to save your relationship, your marriage, your situationship, or whatever you want to call it, right? Then when you do decide to walk away, you can do that with infatuation. How many of us have mistaken and ran head first into a relationship, identifying it as love at first sight? I'm not saying I don't believe in that, but what I'm saying is it based on infatuation? Is it based on what you fantasize the person to be? But then when you realize who they really are, you're in so deep. And in most cases, children are a part of the equation very quickly. And then you are in a space of an abyss. But then when it comes to true love, infatuation can lead to love, but you have to be able to differentiate and take away all of the fantasies that you have and live in the authentic truth of the situationship, partnership, marriage, or just person of interest. So what I found out just by observation, observation, that infatuation happens a lot, not only in the metaverse and on this app or any other social media apps. It also happens in the real 3D world, where you meet somebody and you're so enamored by them And then the next thing you know, y'all are, you know, and y'all are just hitting it and quitting it, And then it's like, why haven't you called me? You know what I'm saying? So where's the mystery in that? And I know when you get, you know, older in your adulthood, that shit really don't matter. I mean, it does and it doesn't. You know what I mean? But, feelings get developed very quickly. But know that they can fizzle just as quick. So then you're standing there. And what do you do? What do you do? How do you cope with that? Ask yourself that question. How do you cope with that? What I can tell you, what I do know, is don't beat yourself up about it. Shit happens. It's life, baby. Life is life. And if you can grab those few minutes, those days, those weeks, or even a couple of months of happiness, then grab it. But recognize what it is so you know and you're prepared. Ashe? Ashe. And again, what I also wanted to tell you is when we were talking about this anxiety or anxious attachment, that shit is real, yo. That shit is real. That's why I'm harping on it so much, because I know a lot of people that deal with that. And I would say that a little bit of my shit is attached to that as well. You know, just a little. And I have to deep dive to find out what portion of that in my life when I go back and figure out why. But I already have an answer. So it's just a matter of me just trying to fit it into figuring it all out. Because you know me, I don't do emotions well. And when it comes out, it's not good usually. So that's just my true confession. And I'm going to stick to that. But I want to thank you for coming by for this fourth and final episode on this topic. Are they deeply in love? Or is it infatuation? Or is it coded something totally different as an anxious attachment style? Have a wonderful night, and I will see y'all real soon. Be well, stay safe. Ashe and deep out.
Oh, I believe you are a rainbow. You are the heaven I need to see. You're the promise, everlasting. Oh, where you are, I hope to be. And oh, make me say, oh, it again, girl. Make me say, oh, it again, girl. Oh, it again. Make me say, oh, it again, girl. You're all I need. Oh, yes, you are. Oh, 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 you're all I need. Oh, yeah, baby. Said you're all I need. Whatever pain's inside, you make it better. Oh, you make me realize that I'm concerned. You are the only one who goes through the changes. I'm giving my I am thirsty.